7:30 on August 14th. Motion to open the meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes to approve this time. We'll get caught up next time. No mail, no appointments. Go right into operations update with Dana.
All right. So the fiscal year, for last fiscal year, we had confirmed with the town accountant that they certified our enterprise fund account for 2.25 million, and our profits for last year fell in the vicinity of $342,000. So we're getting some more details regarding that, and I'll have a finalized report when that's confirmed from the accounting department. The handout I just gave for this year's July forecast, we had forecasted 325 for July. We came in at 370, so that puts us roughly up by 45,000 for the first month. August is going strong. I got to be honest, I didn't even take a look at it yet, but the place is packed every day. So me and Steve can attest to that. Real quick, go through the bullet points. Pro shop, I've got some balls keep coming in replenishment orders. Hats are on, new hats are on order. On the lookout for some outdoor apparel and some sweatshirts and shirts with some local apparels to kind of give us our give our locals an opportunity to buy some Acushnet apparel outside of Acushnet River Valley. So I'm kind of trying to bring the two together, so it'll have Acushnet on it, featuring, you know, kind of like bringing them into Acushnet. Any players, that loyal patrons that want to buy some Acushnet gear will have it, and then any local people that live in Acushnet that are looking for Acushnet apparel will have some stuff coming
Just stay
shortly.
away from it saying anything Acushnet Golf for the Titleist legality
Yes.
reasons.
Yeah, no, it would be, you know, either
Yeah.
Acushnet with some type of logo,
Yeah, okay.
you know, and then maybe even Acushnet with the Indian head, so you could tie the two together, and then segue that and try and branch off that with some just plain Acushnet stuff as well.
Who
So
you going through?
I'm going to talk to actually Catman on that.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
So that way
Get
I don't
to
have
him.
to buy a bulk
He's-
order. I
he's
can kind of,
stacked right now.
yeah,
I just played with him, yeah.
which is great.
But he'll take care of you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's just
I'm
that-
actually looking at stuff like the casual color shirts that they have. You got a good line there. It's comfortable material, and I don't think you have to order in like, you know, bulk 150 shirts or anything. So you can kind of put in a nice small
See,
custom
you-
order, feel it out. If it works, if not, we just
No,
work
usually
through it.
you can order like 4 or 5 dozen,
Yeah.
and then he'll.
Because those Acushnet 25th anniversary shirts took a while to get through them, but everybody spoke well of them, and so I'm kind of thinking that, you know, we'll have our high-end apparel for our golfers, and then we'll have some other casual wear for people that just want to have some Acushnet stuff to hang around and wear. So it's just another way to market the golf course and have people advertise the property and the town outside of playing here and wearing golf apparel. So moving forward, repairs. We continue to experience problems with that ball machine and the coin dispenser. Steve's guys took a look at it today and fixed it up. I'd like to probably sit with Norm and see what he did, and maybe he can give us like a brief tutorial of the adjustments that need to be made. Then I can train 4 or 5 of my guys to kind of.
I think what he said, that he seemed to, the feeling he seemed to have is that for some reason, you know, people put a token in, it doesn't work, and they start beating on the thing or shaking. Because every time he's gone up there, he's had to move the plate, adjust it, and gee, I think it was Kevin said, no, your Kevin said he tried it twice and he couldn't get the thing to work.
Yeah,
Nor
and
spent some time on
I
it.
kind of want him to show us, because if I have 5 guys doing 5 different things, they're all going to try and manipulate it the wrong
Yeah,
way.
they'll try to do it different
So,
ways.
and then it gets all out of, out of balance, and we can't find the right channel. So
Is there an option to replace, I haven't even looked at it for a while, but to replace that, like,
We did.
the face?
This-
I'm saying with like a credit card machine, if you have a credit card. And
So
then
we
you-
talked about that option, and the expense of it cost so much that it would take us a couple years to even break even on it.
Right.
So, you know what, we already got the tokens, let's just get another one with a coin dispenser.
How about a backup plan? Like, I know it's a lot, but bags.
Either that or
It's-
just fill the baskets. I mean, like the whale does. They have them
It's
sitting there.
easier said than done.
I
Yeah,
believe
I
it.
know.
Oh yeah.
I know you
I'm
need
not,
that.
I'm not saying it's not.
That's 2 extra people
Yeah.
just doing that.
Build-
That's, you
Build
know.
some pyramids.
Yeah. Get the pyramid made for that.
All right, I still have those. We're gonna sand those down and have those
I
refinished.
get it, it's just,
The pyramid doesn't get paid for though, it just gets stacked and somebody uses it.
Yeah,
So-
right.
We'll look at some type of option that we can do for that.
Sit a kid out there with a bucket,
Well, and,
50
No,
gallon
it's
bucket.
a big issue, this machine, it's like, keeps breaking.
It does
it's
seem like it.
at least every other week. I mean, or every 2 weeks. It works fine for a while, and the next thing you know, we're chasing our tails again. So I'm gonna call the vendor again and see what he's got to say. I still haven't gotten a credit yet on the last pot that we just replaced. So I'm gonna see what he can do for us. But I mean, at least he's been cooperative with sending out a new replacement pot. As soon as I say we need it, he sends it out.
They must know something's up
Yeah.
with all the other ones. I'm
Right.
sure it's
And-
just
and-
not
well,
us.
I would assume so.
Like Adam alluded to, I don't think there are that many places that still use tokens. A lot of people use the credit card system or some type of debit card, or I don't know if they would have a machine.
or like a tag that you
Well,
just
if
put
you could
money on.
get, if
That's
you
what
could
I-
get, if you could get a card reader or something, and then, you know, I don't know what you need in the pro shop, but you punch in $15. So the guy, I don't know, what's a bucket?
8 and 10.
8, so call it $8. Put $32 on there, you get 4 buckets. Once the fourth one's exchanged, you have to redo your card or something. At least that might get away with that. I don't know if they have that option. But it might.
I'll inquire and see if they can pop out the coin dispenser and replace it with a credit card and see how that will work.
Could we
also
But
get
it
a
has to
backup card?
coincide, somehow it has to coincide, because you gotta get it into the POS Golf Now system.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not a direct link.
Yeah.
Town is very specific about their credit card charges and who they use and who they have accounts with. So that's a whole other realm of complications, because normal golf operations, you run just off of your POS system. And as I've said before, our system runs on a credit card system, and you mirror the purchase on the POS system, because the town doesn't want to use the POS system as its initial credit card, because they don't want to pay the additional charges.
I'm sure that if that was the case, that would mean Wi-Fi or internet out there. So that's also.
Well,
Probably, yeah.
that wouldn't be too difficult because you're close enough to the clubhouse to.
Yeah,
To
if
get
those
the
machines
signal.
work on Wi-Fi, I have no idea.
Right.
How about instead of getting one part, we get two for a backup? Is that too much money, or?
No, it's 400 a piece, a unit, about 450. So to get a backup one, be another 450. If that one tags out, we can have Norm screw in, because that's all it is. It's like 4 screws,
Well,
5
that's why I
screws,
get the whole
put
piece
it in.
instead of trying to
Right.
fiddle around with just one part of it.
Yeah,
But we've been refunded for this, right? Because
Yes.
of malfunction?
yes. And they actually, I've had the service rep come up. He's, but he's got to be on the run, because I guarantee you this isn't just happening with us.
It's gotta be.
So it's every, if I call today, he's not coming for 3, 4, 5 days because he's out of Connecticut. So, he's good, he's come, but it's not Johnny on the spot. So it's quicker if we just use our guys and see if we can kind of manipulate it to function. And then I'll try and work with him, see if there are some other options that we can work around with on that one. Golf carts have been serviced, they're coming regularly. I think I gotta have Norm look at cot 52.
Is that the one that's sitting out front?
It's sputtering and kicking
Because
back.
that guy he came and he fixed he must need a part for it or something.
Oh no, there's one that needs a fuel line, and then 52 I have
Oh, 52's
in my
up in the
fleet,
pen.
yes.
Yeah, that one's the one he didn't have. The one out front here, he didn't have the part for.
Correct. So 52 I gotta pull, and that's gonna be looked at with more
Is it-
closely.
Yeah.
Because this cot has come into play,
That one's been
yes,
down
back
a
and
couple
forth.
times.
So they fiddle with it, oh, it's okay, they send it back in the fleet, next thing you know,
Stops again.
it's kicking out and sputtering again. Outings, summer schedule is booked. We have 10 outings in September, spread out pretty much, except for the week of the 10th to the 14th. We have 2 outings on in the weekday and 1 on the Saturday. I tried to space them out pretty much to try and accommodate the Monday, Wednesday, Friday cuts as much as possible. I've turned away dozens of outings on our schedule because you don't have the space for it. You know what I mean? We got so much loyal patrons that are playing that you can't just keep
Don't wanna
taking
chase
outings
them.
and push these people off. So you'll kill your brand and your customer base if all you do is service the outing. So
What's our outing fee, Dana?
$80 on the weekend and $67 on the weekday. And there was quite a significant jump. I don't know if you guys recall, but it has not stymied the demand one bit.
Nobody's hummed.
Nope,
No, I think most other places are.
they're even more than us.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
that's your fee, and then of course, if they're charity or something, they're gonna
Yeah.
tack on a little
Right.
bit on top of that.
Well, and they pretty much know that you're not making your bread and butter on the greens fee. You gotta go out there and hustle, do your sponsorship signs and, sell mulligans, and you gotta hustle for it. They're just not gonna give it to you. That's the summer schedule. And then the other stuff is just a follow-up on our executive session. You guys can read through that, and we can discuss that at a later date in another executive session for an upcoming meeting. Rich the facility committee was supposed to come this evening. They're all on vacation or they have things to do with work, so they could not make it tonight, and they're looking to reschedule with us to do a summarized version presentation collaboratively with us, take some bullet points, some insight that we may have, either add it to or edit the current presentation, and then we can kind of move forward into the selectmen with another presentation, final presentation. But things went rather smooth with them, and I think Dave has a copy of what it is they were gonna review tonight. It's pretty much tight as a button as far as I can see, but we're open for any input or some changes or anything else. But that's all I got.
Steve, update.
Well, I'm not gonna belabor the point, but, the biggest discussion from my end of the business at this time of year is the weather. And not so much the weather, but what builds up to it, and how it affects what you see out there. So I broke down into basically greens, tees, and fairways. Overall, our greens are in good condition. We do have some spots that are thin, some other spots that are somewhat worn, and some spots that are heat sensitive. The dry jet aeration was completed on the 5th of August, went smoothly. I have to give the young gentleman that we have on staff credit because they did a fine job in keeping those machines loaded. I don't know if you all know what's involved in that. The dry jet is a sand injection machine which uses water pressure to create a hole, but also uses the water pressure to pull the sand down through a tube into the hole and through the profile. The injection was going down approximately 6 inches, but in order to keep that machine fed, you have to keep the hopper full, and that entails carrying 5-gallon buckets of sand across the green anytime the machine starts to get about half empty, because you don't want it to run out while it's operating, and they did a real good job with that. We are looking at one of our small 1/8 inch core aerations for either probably Wednesday the 3rd of September and Friday the 5th. The reason I said 2 days is as of tomorrow, we lose 6 people on staff, and we're going to try to sequence this so we can do the back 9 on one day, and then the front 9 on the other, where that particular week, we have a back start on Wednesdays and Fridays, which would probably enable us to we could get the front side done, no problem, on Wednesday, and then with the the back side done on Wednesday, and with a front start, backside start, we'd be able to finish the front on Friday. We do need to do some overseeding on some of our greens. Probably the worst green are the 3rd and the 4th greens. We're going to be overseeding the 3rd, the 4th, the 6th, and the 11th. We do have some thin spots on the back right-hand corner of the 1st, the back portion of the 2nd, and the back center portion of the 16th. We hope to be able to get the overseeding done the 1st or 2nd week of September. We've got to get the seed in the ground so it can germinate, and as Dana alluded to earlier, September, I mean, I've got absolutely basically no time to do anything. Between weekend outings, I mean, we've got 3 outings in a row, 1 and 10 tea time starts at 6 o'clock in the morning, Saturdays, and Sundays. We've got the New Bedford Fire Department on a Wednesday, the 9 o'clock shotgun, then that Friday we have another 9 o'clock shotgun. That's the weekend, I believe Dana was talking about, the real busy one. There's just no play. I mean, we've got fairways to verticut. I can't do it today. I do it on a day like today, and you're going to have a lot more dead grass than you're seeing out there now.
Yeah,
I need the cooler
that's
weather.
only 1 week.
Huh?
So that's only 1 week.
Well, the problem, in order to, what I'm saying is nobody understands what the process is. You go out there and you verticut a fairway. You don't want to put 125 people on it the next day, riding all over it, because you're basically going to, I mean, it's a very aggressive operation to remove the thatch on the fairways. If anybody wants to come out and see it when we start, you can see that machine, and the rooster tail's flying 15 to 20 feet up in the air behind that machine. What I'm trying to explain to people is that we need, at some point, times to recover. It's been a difficult year. Your times to recover aren't November, because the weather changes, seed's not going to germinate, so we have to keep that in mind, and that's why I'm saying at times we need to have a joint kind of scheduling session in the future so we can work all of this together so we can be successful in both generating revenue but also regenerating the golf course.
So what's your suggestion for that?
Well, my suggestion is to sit down and have, joint group meetings where we can sit down and look at scheduling ahead of time and say, okay, well, this particular month, we don't need these activities aren't done. Maybe we can get more, more outings in the month of June as opposed to the tail end of the year. Or maybe we can get more outings spread out earlier in July and take the pressure off of September. Again, I mean, what happens again is that, I mean, not only are you trying to recover, but you lose staff as well, which is, part of, most of that work is labor intensive. Not only once you verticut, you just can't leave the material sitting there on the top. It has to be drugged, it has to be swept up, or it has to be blown off. And it's not something you can do in the middle of play. You need to, and for us, we've got the one machine. Mike said, tees we can knock off because they're easier to do because they're smaller, they're in certain groups. You can jump ahead and so on. I'm just looking at fairways and regenerating fairways and specifically rough. And I think one other thing, haven't gotten to fairways yet, one other thing we have to consider is what we should do as a group is maybe consider recontouring a good number of these fairways, because we have a 2-row irrigation system, and most of the issues on our fairways are at the outskirts of the fairway, what we call the cleat up cut, and also in the higher traffic areas. And I'll use the 9th fairway as an example. I recontoured the 9th fairway year and a half ago. And the bottom right-hand portion by that little forward tee burnt out 95% of the time. Now you've got decent fairway turf. You've got about 6 feet more rough, but that difference enabled you to have better turf in the area where you're more serviced by water. The other thing is that when you look at these conditions out there, whether it's a tee or whether it's a fairway, water isn't the answer to everything. You can't just pile water on something and expect it to turn around and be great again. One of the problems is compaction, and these compaction issues come from cart traffic, but compaction issues also occur when you have a significant amount of rain at other times of the year and you have carts or other traffic out there and you lose your soil structure. Make it real simple, you have air pockets and water pockets in the soil. When the soil becomes compacted, you lose those. When you lose those, you're unable to wet the soil, but you're also unable to get the efficacy out of your fungicide materials, your fertility materials, and what have you. So it's just not a one-time incident thing because it got hot. It's also got humid. You also have, again, you have diseases which are spread by, or can be spread by water, but also can be spread by cart traffic and foot traffic. So these are all things that have to be considered in the way in which we attack these things. And that's why I'm saying maybe if we recontour the fairways, give them a little bit more shape. I mean, geez, the 14th fairway is just like an airport landing strip. Maybe if we give it a little bit more shape, I don't know what, have Tim Garrish look at it, have, Adam look at it, and have Isaac look at it, and get some ideas about shaping it. I mean, we don't want to make it significantly more difficult, but there's, outside of routine landing areas, there's no reason to be, and we know because of the type of golfer, we have a certain landing area here, and other golfers want to land in this particular area. So I think maybe that's something that could help fairway-wise. And unfortunately, I mean, the bottom half of the fourth fairway, basically needs to be rebuilt. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know what they buried out there. But if you walk and drive out, it's just pothole city.
Yeah.
And it's sinking, and there's probably maybe an eighth to a quarter of an inch of topsoil there, if any.
The fourth fairway, is that?
Yeah, and you look at the fairway, and you can see you'll have a patch in the middle of nothing that's beautiful grass, and it's surrounded by yuck. And and then you have another patch here and another patch there, and that's all part of the soil matrix and how the soil was mixed and how it was put into place. But I don't want to get off the subject to get back to the tees. Again, 75% of our tees are in good condition. The other 25% are suffering from heat stress, and some of them are suffering basically from inadequate size. In particular, the white tee on the 17th hole is too small. I mean, that's where the majority of your players hit from, and the bloody thing's hardly as big as these two tables put together. So maybe that's something we start to think about in the future, is when we look at projects, rebuilding tees. And you've got adequate space there. Just utilize more of the space, and you actually have the irrigation in the ground that would be adequate to do the job. You just don't have enough size. Again, the tees we're going to go at, we finished the core aeration this week. We used a smaller tine, and we went a depth of about 2.5 inches, basically to pull out the thatch, so we could get better water penetration. The soil amendments and the wetting agents were put on this morning, and they were watered in, and hopefully that'll start things to turn around. There's certain tees like the 11th tee. The irrigation design is just inadequate, but we'll be verticutting that. We'll be, we have to verticut that and oversee that every year. It's just happens that way. That white tee on the 5th hole, I've thrown everything but the kitchen sink at it. It's just too small, and it just can't afford, can't handle the traffic. A good example is if you go over to the 7th hole, we've had tee blocks off that small white tee for about a month and a half. You go over there and look at it, and it looks better than it looked in 20 years. But as soon as you put that much play back on it,
The front one, right?
yeah, well, the one, you have the black back tee, then you have the what we call the white blue tee, and then you have the smaller white tee, and then the forward tee on the other side. So
For those
There's-
holes 5 and even 17, could you ever move the white tees up to where the forward tees are on some days to alleviate?
well, I wouldn't want to put them. Well, the forward tees are over on the ladies.
Right, but
What
it-
used to be the ladies' tee. You can't call it that now.
Right, but even on like 17, it's still going to be a decent par 3 if you move it.
Yeah, but that tee isn't hardly any bigger than the one you're moving it from.
I know.
And you've got
But it just alleviates the stress
two
on
groups of golfers playing from there already. The option was what we do with the blue tees, is move it back to the larger tee. I mean, you've got that huge tee back there,
Yeah.
and you know, there's it's if you stand on the tee and you look to your right, you can get an estimate of about where your blue tee placement should be on that tee.
You know what you should do is maybe use that for outings, shift that, put the outings on that tee, because they're gonna chew it to pieces. So put them in a spot that you're comfortable chewing up.
Well,
and then come off of it.
that's true. I mean, they'll beat on it a little bit, but I don't think the outing's going to beat any more significantly than regular play. You know, it's just. I mean, if you look at a Saturday here, you know, we have an outing. You know, we get 40. You know.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's depending on how you look at it.
That
But,
goes back to your tee boxes though, like in back in 3, right? You could tie in 3, like we were talking the other week, right? Make a new tee box.
yeah, I mean,
With
like
those
again,
trees,
these are all things to consider moving forward if you want to do projects to
I think
improve the
that's a good
course.
idea.
I mean, you look at the size of that back tee on the third hole. I mean, the tees on the third hole, those should be par 3 holes, par 3 size tees. That's what you should have on par 3 tees. And, you know, that tee there, I mean, you got plenty of room to move it around, and with the exception of
Yep.
one spot where, you know, there isn't head-to-head coverage, the back right-hand corner of that one tee, it's in really good shape, so. But we're going to work on verticutting some of the ones that are a little excessive thatch-wise, and then we're going to start overseeding as soon as we can. Fairways, basically the same situation. We have some fairways, you look at the top of the 7th fairway, it looks great. You get to the hill, start going downhill, and you can see where the wilt is. The first year I was here, we had 2 irrigation lateral line breaks in that fairway. There is no topsoil in that fairway. It's all gravel. And once you get to the hill, when it goes down the hill, I think when they grew the course in, what little topsoil was there washed away. That's why you get that. I mean, you can go down there and try to stick a sign in there, stick a screwdriver in there. It doesn't go anywhere. But we're going to be addressing those situations, try to get some verticutting done. Overseeding, we're going to start to do. Again, that's a process. I mean, to overseed the 4th fairway is about a 4.5 to 5 hour process. And of course, I mean, you know, even if you start at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, you're going to try to be doing it during play, and that's a difficulty
So-
just because you.
Can I speak to that for a second? It seem is it an option to do that after play has taken place? You come in and you work after we've had a day of play, so that you
When-
don't have to stop the tee sheet and you don't have to have a late start.
When would you come in
It
to
does
have
get
a
light
day
at
of
the
play?
end of the day. Yeah.
Like when the leagues are done, leagues finish up. They finish what, mid-September? So instead of stopping play, you're on salary. I'm on salary. I work some days at sunrise to sunset. You maybe come in at a later part of the day. Let Kev start the day, or have Kev come in later part of the day and you start the day, and work through the end part of the day and do it when the play subsides, rather than interrupting play and revenue.
Well,
there's a lot of downtime.
The thing that we have to
take advantage
there's
of.
a lot of downtime. You may consider a lot of downtime, but
It is.
it's downtime for you. It's not downtime for us. Like I said, we have X number of people at that time of the year, and Kevin and I are needed throughout the morning shift, especially into September and October, to do course preparation. And you lose daylight in the afternoon, and it's really, I mean, I'm not going to belabor the point. I'm presenting information for you guys to think about, but you keep on pounding and pounding and pounding and pounding the revenue hammer. And unfortunately, at sometimes we have to consider that in order to continue the revenue hammer pounding, we have to have some regeneration and we have to have some healing. Because we don't have we don't have tennis, we don't have a swimming pool, we don't have a clubhouse yet. People come here to play golf. And when those conditions, or when that turf goes downhill and we can't get it to come back, then people aren't going to come to play golf anymore. They're going to go somewhere else.
So what is the suggestion?
So the suggestion is, for instance, if we're going to do the fourth fairway, then we keep carts off the fourth fairway when it's being vertiseeded. It's not, or overseeded, when it's being slice seeded.
That's doable.
The other thing, the other thing you could do, and I don't know if anybody happened to be here on Monday the 4th when we had fairway aeration done, where Sportscapes showed up with 5 machines, and they had 5 machines on each fairway, and they moved through the course like clockwork. The other thing you can do is you outsource your overseeding. Say, for instance, I'll give you an example. Say one day you start play on the back side, and you outsource your overseeding on the front side, and they come in with 3 or 4 machines. They zip through a hole or 2 holes. They'll be done the front side before play comes around to them. And then it's difficult to try to get them to split days because they
Right.
like to go do a
Get it
job
done.
and finish. So, but that's another option. I'm just putting out there is that we have to use all of these tools together to find a way to stop the encroachment and stop the wear and tear.
When you
Because we
verticut-
want to have.
When you verticut and overseed the fourth, are you gonna fill in all the spots, or is that another reconstruction project?
Well, I mean, it's not, when you say fill in the spots, what do you mean?
Like it looks like. they
Sunken
buried a
tree
bunch of
stumps.
Tree stumps, that's what it looks like.
Well, again, that's the fourth fairway. I really can't go out there and legitimately cut the sod around every hole and try to dig it out and fill it in. Because whatever is there that made it collapse is going to continue to make it collapse. They buried something organic, and basically the organic material broke down over time and it sunk. I don't want to, again, I'm not going to belabor it, but I've got a picture when Dan Menard was out here doing the second cart path. If you guys remember, at some point in the original cart path, there was a big dip, and it kept on getting worse and worse. Well, he's got a picture of the excavator inside that hole, because it looked like somebody's wood chipping operation. That they just filled this hole with material, and he's pulling out organic material. He got to the point where the arm wouldn't reach down any further, safely reach down any further. And that's what happens. The organic material breaks down over time and it sinks.
So we'll always have those.
Well, you'll have those. You're going to have to go out there, determine the depth, determine basically what they did, and try to alleviate it by basically taking a bulldozer, cutting it down, and then rebuilding it back up. To try to do each little particular hole, I don't think. It might work for a season or two, but it's still going to continue to collapse.
I got a question. What farm this out? What are you looking at price wise?
I don't know. I'd have to check and see who has.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I mean,
I'd
I'll
be
talk
interested.
with. I'll talk with Sportscapes, and then
If you farm
there's
it
a couple
out,
other companies.
the hammer can still move. That's what you're interested in.
Yeah, I mean, there are more ways than one to
And
skin
if
a
we
cat.
have the money, I think it's a good idea that we invest in that and keep you insane and all your other employees, because you don't have enough. That's my theory.
How many guys do you have now?
I'm not insane.
Well, that
sane.
depends on.
Rather insane.
We have. Huh?
14?
So 14 after you lose the 5, right?
No, if you take, we have, including Kevin and I, there's 19 people.
Right, but you
Okay.
lose the 5.
It's either money.
No, you're
lost
losing-
revenue or it's money and it's
You're going, within the next week and a half, you lose 6.
So that's more efficient.
And of those remaining employees, they're all part-time, with exception of one.
Right.
The only full-time employees are myself, Kevin, our mechanic, and Pudge.
And that, the NGF spoke to, our staff mix is askew compared to the industry. We don't have full-time workers. It's Steve, Kev, me, Isaac, and everybody else is pretty much part-time. I mean, you know, excluding,
So Stephen, to get back to that, can you get us a number of what it might cost, estimate, so we could compare it to revenue lost or play lost and
I
what
mean, I
it would
imagine that's out
cost?
for this year, but.
Well, if it doesn't work one time, we just don't do it again.
Right.
But if it works, we make sure we keep doing it if we have the money. We got money.
He's saying we couldn't schedule it for this year because it's already too late.
Yeah, I mean, imagine the schedule.
Yeah, no,
Well, no.
you can get numbers, but
Right.
these guys are booked to your head. As a matter of fact, you know, I'm, you know, right now working on getting the spots for next season.
Yeah.
And they open up, you know, both Sportscapes and Colonial Dry Jack, they open up their schedule middle of this month. And normally what guys will do, because a lot of guys had operations planned for the end of June, July, and the beginning of August, and they canceled them because they just couldn't, their turf wasn't in good enough shape to take, because these cultural practices are a little bit rough. But anyway, so now they're opening up their schedule, and most guys will take their same spot year after year after year. That was why we couldn't get, I mean, I'd love to have everything on one day.
did we
But-
move our aeration to later next year, or are we gonna stay in the August spot?
Well, as far as the dry jacks is concerned, we're gonna stay in the August spot because we don't have the labor. As far as the fairway aeration is concerned, I think it's better to get it done sooner than later. Yeah, I'd like to see next year I can get them both on the same day. You know, they don't interfere with each other. Unfortunately, again, you know, due to a cancellation, I lost, and a cancellation the day before, not a cancellation 5 or 6 weeks ahead of time. I lost my spot, and now I got to work to get it back. So, but yeah, if we get them done on the same days, that would help. Again, that's why we pushed the deep time aeration off to October.
And the point I was gonna make is that, you know, we talk about revenue, but there's a cost to everything, so it's either a cost in lost revenue or a cost in farming something out, so it's one side or the other, so either one of them's gonna harm us a lot more than the other. So it can't hurt to at least get the estimate now, so you wanna try it out next year to try and book it and just see how that is, if it's.
Well, that's why, you know, and again, your number, I mean, there's certain places where, it's not all the fairways. I mean, you've got certain fairways that need to be overseeded. Other fairways, I mean, you know, like we're gonna overseed the cleanups all ourselves, which is 2 to 3 passes with the overseeder, the big one, around the outside of the fairway. That's no problem. I mean, we can do, you know, you can zip around there and in 25, 30 minutes, you know, go in one direction. Most of the time to get an effective overseed, you cut the rate in half and you go in 2 directions. That's what takes the amount of time. And you know, you can't, some people say, well, why don't you go one direction one week and second direction next week? Well, you go one direction one week and your seed starts to germinate, then you come back next week and you're ripping it out by going the other direction. So it doesn't make much sense to try to do that.
Get the estimate, we'll look at it, if it's, you know, you think it's worth
Yeah, I mean, there's certain fairways that we can do every year, just
Well,
because they're the weaker
then
ones.
get
And then
it.
other fairways that, you know, like, I mean, like, for the 15th fairway, I mean, you know, on any given day, we can start the 15th fairway and be done and cleaned up before play gets out there. Because it's on the backside, plays on the front. You know, it's something like the 14th fairway, where, forget it, you can fit all the greens in this golf course in the 14th fairway and still have room. So, but anyway, but we'll look at that. Get the
Yeah,
numbers,
look into
see what
it,
they're-
and if it
And
works-
again, it's the cost of the seed that goes along with that. No
If it
problem
works,
about-
keep the spot for every year, that's all, so you stay in the queue. You don't have to worry about.
Well, the thing about some of the larger companies like Sportscapes, he could send his other guys here, and he could have slice seeders coming in behind fairway aerators. I mean, he's got, I think, 12 different
Does he
operators.
do aeration? That's the guy, they did aeration at a reservation.
They took his company went. They had. You remember
One
years
day.
ago when Yale Golf Course was closed for
Yeah.
a year or so or whatever it was. His company went down there and basically did the total. I think they were down there for a week. Did a total renovation of the entire place before they reopened it.
I'll tell you what, they're very efficient and they're very clean.
Yeah, they in and out. And,
Yeah, in and out is right.
Well, the other thing, I mean, that's how they make
Machines are
money.
huge.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, you get some of them that are 8, 9 feet wide.
Oh, yeah.
Compared to
Oh, yeah. They
the one
had
that we
3 of
have
them
is-
out there. See, they were done in 8 hours.
So they're twice the size of the one you have?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Not all of them, I mean, he has
Right.
4 or 5 different
Right.
sizes of machines.
They had two I mean, they're wide as this room.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, they have, some of the guys have bought the new Toro, it's a double aerator, runs off a 90 horsepower tractor, and it's got 2 aerators on the back, and it can do, I think, 12 to 14 feet in one swath. But anyway, that's kind of silly and out of our realm. I still don't know how the guy missed the sprinkler heads with 14 feet. That's just me. I know maintenance Mondays are somewhere on the schedule, so I'm gonna pass over that. What I did next year is,
There seems to be some confusion on the maintenance Monday with regards to the starting time of the T-sheet. Last year, it was 10 o'clock.
no, last year was 11 o'clock. As a matter of fact, I thought that I was wrong, and I asked Isaac, and Isaac said it's always been 11 o'clock.
No.
And I said, yes, no,
I have
last year it
T-sheets
was.
right here.
You have the T-sheets. The T-sheets don't necessarily reflect when it was supposed to start. It was supposed to start at 11 o'clock. It's always been 11 o'clock. It's always been 3 hours. I can ask everybody who sits at this table here in the morning, and they can give you the same response, because before even mentioning about a maintenance Monday, I had a meeting with my guys, and we discussed it and how we were going to go about doing it, and the fact that we're going to start earlier on those days so we can buy ourselves additional time.
From my
But it's always-
perspective, I know that you guys are new, but my recollection is 11. I don't know about you, John, but
Yeah, I think I do remember that. I haven't followed it, but yeah.
Sure, all right, 11. My confusion.
We basically have 4 more. There's one on the 25th of
No
August.
sweat.
The 29th of September, October 6th, and the only reason I did that because it was the deep time day, so that gives them time to get ahead, and we can do some other stuff coming in behind those, top dressing and rolling and whatnot, and then October 20th. A couple of things, we discussed overseeding here quite a bit. I mentioned it at the last meeting. Currently, our overseeding equipment, the only overseeding equipment we have is large area overseeder that we use for fairways. Some of the tees that can be used on, but for the majority of them, it's just too big. You can't, you have to get up to a certain speed and maintain that speed. You have to have runoff areas and be able to pick up the machine. And the length of the machine in combination with the tractor just makes it you're unable to do some of the tees. And it's not something that I'm gonna put on a green. It's just too big and it's too awkward. To that end, we had discussed, or I brought to your attention last meeting, what these are Moreto vibratory seeding reels. They cut a slit into the ground, and the seed is deposited into the slit as the machine goes across. Right now, we use a walk-behind aerator with a dimple tine, which takes me about 20 minutes to aerate the green. And then we drop seed into it, which takes about another 15 minutes. And by the time you're done top dressing and brushing, what have you, you're spending about 40 minutes on the green. This machine with these seeding reels you can overseed green in 2 directions in less than 15 minutes. It's like cutting a green with a triplex.
So what you're saying is we get this machine, and then we go to 10 o'clock on maintenance Mondays because it takes less time to do it.
See, that's the way golf pros think.
They also want to speak to that, is just to, the 11 o'clock start. I just want everybody to realize this. When you start at 11 o'clock, the tee box is only opening for an hour and a half, and then it's shutting down, because
Because of 18.
you have leagues at 3:30 that start. So you're opening on Monday for an hour and a half only. So you're basically opening for the leagues. So why don't you just shut down all the way till 3:30 and eliminate the other maintenance Mondays and do it once? Because you're just killing the day anyways. Instead of killing 2 days a month, you kill 1 and you get it all done on that day.
Well, it's nice to say that you can do things all in one day, but when you, for instance, when you're doing a fairway fungicide application, The fungicide application doesn't say, oh, well, wait a minute, we'll do it on the first Monday of the month, and then we'll wait 20 to 30 days later. Well, no, the fungicide efficacy rate is only 14 to 20 days. So you run out, so you don't have the opportunity to do it again. Plus, fitting your irrigation, your wetting agents in there and other things. I mean, you guys want to cancel maintenance Monday, that's fine. I mean, I brought it up, it's an industry standard. It happens everywhere. As a matter of fact, I can pull my phone out and show you whatever they call it, social media posts about what they do on maintenance Mondays, and it's a good thing they have them, and so on and so forth. You want to cancel them? Go ahead. There's no skin off my nose. But if you're going to cancel maintenance Mondays, do me a favor and get rid of 1 in 10 T starts at 6 o'clock in the morning almost every bloody weekend, because that's ridiculous. Nobody else does it. And I'm tired of coming in here at 4 o'clock in the morning with a headlamp on my head to change cups so I can be done and accommodate something that nobody voted on, somebody just installed and decided this is what we're going to do. That's why we have a group of people, that's why we have a committee, that's why we have to come up with different
Did
approaches.
I come up with that genius idea?
I don't know. I don't know where 1 in 10 tea times came from. All I know is it appeared out of nowhere, and we've been doing it ever since. We didn't do it, like I said, I started here and 25 years ago, and we didn't do it then, and we've been doing it for the past couple of years, and it's just.
I think for the most part, we all have different ideas, but a lot has been working here.
Yeah.
Right.
But why has it been working?
Because we're working.
Because you guys are both working. A lot. Right?
Well, I can't prepare the golf course the way I'm accustomed to preparing it, once we get past the point of losing employees, especially when, I get a 17-year-old kid cutting greens, he can't start work until 6 o'clock. And, so I take another machine, I take another machine, send him around, and he comes up to the first green at 5:45, 10 minutes to 6. And there's people in the fairway hitting the ball to the green, and the green is supposed to start at 6 o'clock. And he calls me on the radio and said, well, what do I do? And I said, well,
Go to 11.
either wave him on. He's already done 11. He's done the putting green, he's done 10, he's done 11, he's going to 1. And he can't turn around and go to 11, because once people get ahead of him, you're not going to get cutting done on the weekend. And I'm not going to put a golf course out there on the weekend that doesn't have greens cut. I'm sorry. So I will find a way to do it, and I agree with you. We've been doing it, it's worked, but at some point you gotta come to, to come to reality and say, is this the smartest thing we can be doing?
I get it. But
Or maybe give us a half an hour on the backside tee, instead of 6 o'clock, 6:30. That way, we don't have to worry about people getting hit. We don't have to worry about stopping doing the bunkers because people are mad because they think we're following them with a bunker rake because we can't get around in time to stay ahead of them.
maybe we could get a list of your top 10 aggravating issues, a list of Dana's top 10.
It's not so much an
And then we can work
aggravating,
it out.
it's an aggravating, it's not so much an aggravating issue. What it is something that, as a group, you need to have some type of structure in the way in which you're gonna proceed to run your facility.
Right, but we
You have to
get
have
that
structure
point.
from me, you have
What
to
I'm
have
saying.
structure from them. You have to sit down, we've never really had structure here, we've never had, what are our seasonal opening times? Do we post our seasonal opening times? When do we start in the morning? When do we, so on. Those are all things that this group should have down pat, so there's absolutely no question.
We leave that,
I feel like
we leave that up to you guys.
It's 8 o'clock.
That is not
It's 8
up to
o'clock on
us
the
unless
weekdays
you want
and
us to do
6
that.
o'clock
Well, it's not
on
so
the
much
weekends.
wanting you to do that, you need to participate in that.
And we leave it up to you two. That's what you're here.
I'm not confused with the opening times.
You both
It's not
guys
a
should
confusion,
you both
well,
should
how
figure
come, if
something
you
out.
weren't confused with the opening times, then the 1st of August and last Friday, we didn't open at 7 o'clock. I got my guys in here at 5 o'clock because we were going to start tea times at 7 o'clock on those 2 Fridays, and there weren't any. So, I'm just saying that you need to have structure, and whether it's a minimal structure or a maximal structure, that's up to you.
So we didn't open at 7 on those Fridays?
On those Fridays, no.
And why?
Why? Because the first one, we didn't realize it until after the 7th day opened, and the second one, we hadn't put it in yet. So, but we're running them now.
Had to do with golf now, didn't it? Like, something like that?
The first
Schedule.
one was a mind lapse because we've been jamming and we've just been running the. Listen, so I built the old system. You would do it weekly.
Mm-hmm.
The new system, you build the tee sheet in the start of the season, and you build it for the entire season. So you get all your outings, you plug everything in, and you're running the program going through it. So it just was an oversight. It's never been there before. You didn't miss the revenue. You're killing Mondays. You ain't worried about that. An hour on Friday ain't gonna kill you either. But you'll get them from now
Well,
on.
but Dana, you keep talking about how much you say we're losing on these maintenance Mondays, every other Monday. It's not even
Right.
every other one, right? No, you keep hammering that to Steve's point,
Well,
and you are.
that's true.
Right, so then here's a compromise to try and get some of that time back. How about this?
And you're
Open up-
gonna.
How about this? Open up at 7:42. It's 18 frickin' minutes. There's 2 times a day. 9 times out of the next 10 days out of every 2 weeks, there's 18 tea times right there. So if you're that hell-bent on losing money on every other Monday, then frickin' open at 7:42. I don't know anybody that doesn't open until 8. Everybody I've talked to says, why is it 8 o'clock? It's late. And to Steve's point, I was talking to somebody this morning, the course that they play it all the time is closed every Wednesday for maintenance. Not even every other one. It's
Hey,
every
Dave.
Wednesday they do maintenance Wednesday.
Take a look at that.
I don't need to look at that, Dana. I don't want to be a jerk, but I'm just saying.
Well, you're
keep
coming
hammering-
at me and
Yeah,
you're
because
kind of looking that way.
because I'm tired of you
What
hammering,
do you-
hammering maintenance
What do I-
Mondays.
Because it doesn't make sense.
To you, it doesn't make sense. Do you cut the grass? No, he does.
We've never had it. Ever.
We've had it for at least 3 years.
3 years we've had
At
it.
least 3 years.
Yes, but we never had it prior to.
And I
And
think
it is not a standard in the industry.
It is
There's
true.
no
Dana,
municip-
you have
there's
no
no
clue
municipality
as to, you
that
have
opens-
no clue as to
Don't tell
what's
me I
the
don't have a
standard.
clue. You don't have a clue.
You don't have a clue about what's the standard in this business, in the
Yes, I
golf
do.
business.
All right.
You have no idea,
all right,
especially
all right.
from my end. You have absolutely no idea.
Really?
And you talk about revenue to me, that bloody machine up there is sitting there for an entire week and a half. You know how I found out that the bloody golf ball machine wasn't operating? I'm out there Saturday morning coming to clean up the tee after we set it up, and there's guys out there with baskets picking up golf balls. And I said, guys, what are you doing? He said, oh, the guy in the pro shop said if we wanted to use the range, we could take a basket and go down and pick up golf balls. Well, damn it, I worked at the busiest golf course in Stamford, Connecticut, and we had bags in the shop. And you had the golf balls there, put the golf balls in the bag, and you sold the bags. Like you said,
You
temporary
want to
measure.
talk about skeleton crews? Let's.
Skeleton
let's-
crew,
operation.
I mean,
We're getting off topic.
you're getting off topic,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
not
getting
gonna
into
argue
an
about
attack
it.
fest is what it looks like.
It's not an attack fest, it's simply trying to get some
It's not.
organization and bring.
You just said I have
it's
no
not.
clue in the industry. Give me
You
a
have
break.
no clue from
Give me a
my
break.
standpoint of the industry.
Guys,
Okay.
Come on, really, you don't.
All right, let's
From my
keep going.
standpoint.
All right,
That's not what you said the first time.
Enough.
I'm standing my ground. I'm not going to let them walk all over me.
Let's
Nobody's walking all over anything. You
You're
don't know
trying to,
anything
but
from-
it ain't going to happen.
You know what, Dana? I'm a 65-year-old man. You know what?
So what?
I don't really give a flying whatever you think about what I know and what I don't know. All I know is that I've been asked
I
to do a
think you're the
job
one making
here.
the
I'm
accusations
trying to
about
do the
me.
job.
I'm not making accusations
I'm not making
about
a
you.
decision about you. I'm saying over the 25 years that I've been here, it's been exhibited that you know nothing about the agronomic end of things, and you're not considering the agronomic end of things when we plan and do things. That's basically what my argument is. I'm not saying that you don't know your end of the business. What I'm saying is you don't know how the agronomic end has to mesh with that end of the business. I was a bar, food and beverage manager at a private club. I managed a restaurant. I've been working in this side of the business for 33 years. I know a little bit about that side of the business and more so about my side of the business. And all I was saying or referring to was that you don't know how this side of the agronomic business meshes with your side of the business.
And I also don't know of any other municipality that closes on maintenance Monday. That's what I don't know.
I have no data to support that, but I would say that most town-owned golf courses in Massachusetts probably don't shut down on a Monday. I could be wrong.
Bedford Country Club.
That's a country.
That's a
Well,
It's a country club.
it's a golf
Big
course.
difference.
It's
No,
a
no, no,
golf
no, no.
course.
No, we said
That's-
municipal.
I mean, come on,
You cannot
There's no
compare that.
municipality that shuts down.
Where do you think that all started? It wasn't from it's from the private sector that they went into that Monday or Wednesday maintenance thing. It all started in the private sector.
Correct.
The public sector got a hold of it and said, wow, this works pretty well. Why don't we try to do this? Although you're losing some money, if maybe, you gotta look at the comparison of how much you're destroying that course to how many people you're ramming down there to keep that course the way it should be. To go back 20 years ago, we didn't need a maintenance Monday. We didn't have that kind of play.
This many rounds.
Now we do. So there's the issue. We have to somehow keep it where it is, or people will just, I ain't going back there. It's bad enough we have slow play.
There's not a single person that returns to this course for any other reason other than the course itself. Right? We offer nothing right now. Hopefully that's going to change soon. But as of today, in the past 26, 27 years, people return because of the course. So we need to maintain the course the best we can and not hammer the bleep out of it. All right, so
I think that just.
We can look at it, we can look at the time of year, and we can, I mean, I'm not saying Dana's idea is bad. I mean, at certain times of the year, you can do that one day, because you don't need that frequency. Or, or we can try to change the schedule where we do something the night before, or come earlier in the morning. It's just unfortunate now that, we don't have the staff to accommodate what we're trying to achieve, because our rounds have picked up and players are picked up, and we got to this spot now where we're doing well, and we want to keep that spot. We want to do something different each year that will attract people, and people say, hey, look, they're spending the money that I'm that I'm spending on my golf round to improve my experience, and something that they're going to see different and new when they come back to.
Dana, what, during this time of the year, when's the last group off the course?
What do you mean, leaving?
Yeah. Say,
We lock the gates at 7 o'clock.
all right, how, just this time of the year, from 5 to 7, how many people are, is there a lot of people out there?
The course is full right now, the leagues are out there.
Because I was just thinking, like, at 5 o'clock, you can get all the trap work done for the next day, and all the small
you get
stuff.
the-
It starts, so leagues tee off by 5 o'clock.
So you get one half done.
So thereafter, you can start working behind them if you
Or
had to.
Or you can work where they're not, in other words, if they're only
Because
playing the
they're
back.
only doing, no, I have leagues
Alright.
on both sides.
Okay.
So at 1 and
Try-
10, they start playing off, and then 1 becomes open, 2 becomes open,
Okay.
3 becomes open. But I also have the 6-hole special, so sometimes we do 6-holers off the front for the last 2 hours of the day off the front side.
Yeah, oh, all right.
But if we had something going on where that needed to be done, you're only making
Well,
$25 for 6 holes.
Like I said,
You just-
It's not routine maintenance stuff like bunkers and things that are difficult to get done. It's the time-consuming jobs that, we get a lot done without interfering with golf. But it's the time-consuming jobs that you can't get done because it just takes too long. And, that's why the whole idea of the Maintenance Monday came about. When I worked at the private courses, Maintenance Monday, that was our busiest maintenance day. And we were, the only time that employees were allowed to play golf was after 2 o'clock on Monday afternoon. When we were done our work, you could play the course because it was closed, it was closed the entire day, the membership. But again, if we, we can adjust. If we feel it's too much of a burden, then, we won't do them. I'll have to come up with something else. But again, I've got, my staff is part-time. With the exception of one person on my staff, who is Kevin, everybody on that staff who's part-time is older than I am. Not one of these people is going to come in here at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, especially when half of them play in the bloody league anyway.
Saying that though, is there a way to restructure your staff, or is it we don't have enough money for it?
Well, you're not providing the appropriate salary rate to attract the people who
So
can
we don't.
restructure.
We can't get.
So you come in
You
on,
can't restructure
you
right
come
now.
in on like 4 o'clock, 5
Exactly.
o'clock on during the week. the guy gets paid a full day.
I'm here
He
every
might,
day.
he might be there 4 hours. Right?
I don't know if we can-
No, the guy, we.
No, I'm just saying like minor things that you can take out of your agenda. So someone can come in later in the day, towards the end of the day, do work that might not take as long, and just pay the kid a full day's pay. You know, like get them, I don't know, all the stupid.
If they're part-time and they punch in, they gotta get paid 3 hours.
They got it, they get,
Well,
well,
just give them the whole day. Like, what's the big deal?
you can't do that.
Oh, no?
No.
Yeah?
Not in
Resi.
the municipal environment. You can, yeah.
Kidding me?
Yeah, you can't, yeah, unfortunately, you couldn't, obviously can't pay.
Pay that
rent,
down,
you
they
can't
be
pay
jumping on
rent.
Steve,
I
putting
like
them in
ideas
cups.
though. Ideas are good.
If you have more staff, what does that mean? There's only so many greens mowers, only so many rough mowers.
No, well, what I'm
What is-
saying is you need your staff, you need experienced staff, first of all. And we're in Dana, we're both in the same circumstance. We have good, solid core staff of retired people. And then we have another portion of our staff which is
Rotates.
basically rotates in summer help. And they're hardly here long enough to get them trained on
Trained.
something, and then they're gone. And if they don't come back next year, then you're back to square one.
You're right,
So
you're right.
that's, so if you look at structures of employees, you have, basically Kevin and I are the spray techs. Most courses will have one person who's responsible for that, and that's all he does. But we don't have the funds, or we're not appropriating the funds, and it has been pointed out a couple times, even in the opinion of people like the National Golf Foundation and stuff, this is how we're structured, but you need to be structured this way. Well, unfortunately, at this point in time, we can't structure that way, so we got to do stuff differently. And until we can get to the point where we can structure that way, we're going to have to continue to do it the way we're doing it. So, he and I may bitch at each other occasionally, but
It's usually this time of month.
yeah, it's this time of year. It's usually July,
Mid-August.
August, because it's friggin' hot. Pardon my French.
Hey, and
And we don't want to be.
I was speaking to Adam the other day with regards to our revenues, and when he was here, we were doing $1 million a year. Now we're doing close to 400 in a month. The numbers are hard to achieve. Mondays are very important to me in my mindset of that. That's why I'm stuck on it, David.
Would it be better to try and do it a
listen,
different day, or
if
not?
everybody's good with it, I'm gonna be good with it.
Okay,
Period.
we've been doing it for 3
You'll
years,
never hear from
right?
me. I'll never say
We
it
haven't
again.
suffered for revenue in the past 3 years, and we've been doing it.
Well, let me
I'll never
ask
say
you,
it again.
if
And I
I,
just want to repeat myself, that
Yeah.
I've said this for 3 years. And I said it earlier tonight, there's a cost to everything. So
Agreed.
do we sacrifice 15,000 in revenue, or do we spend 15,000 more in equipment, people outsourcing? At the end of the year, it's gonna net out to be the same.
Right.
So that's why I'm not hell-bent on worried about a couple of hours of tea times every 2 weeks. And as it pans out, we don't even do it every 2 weeks. And like I said, you're gonna pay for it in something else. Manpower, equipment, outsourcing. So Dana, okay, yep, my revenue's now 30,000 higher for the year, but Steve's expenses are
Got it.
30,000 higher for the year.
Yes.
So at the end of the year, it's the same. So I'm not
Understood.
worried about it, personally.
I'm with you.
Is there a better day
My
than
fault is I'm
Monday?
Polish, and the left side, the money side of my brain is always working. I'm always thinking revenue.
Right, but your right
round.
pocket's gotta be open too, man.
All right,
Blow
okay.
out.
Like I said, I'll never say it again. I'm done with it.
so, speaking of money,
Didn't you spend that 13,000 last month, Steve?
well, no, we didn't.
I thought we did.
We have 13,
We
what was
voted
it?
on something for that 13,000 last month.
Oh, yeah.
The John Deere, that was walk behinds? No.
No, that was before the
That was
turn.
before that, though.
That was before the turn of the fiscal year,
Yeah, that was the
That was the
three
gator, the used
gators.
gator.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
which was delivered on Monday, the
We only spent the
4th of.
13,000 on something.
yeah, that's what it was.
No, that was a proposal. That were actually, it wasn't a proposal. I brought it to everyone's attention last time, and I wanted to bring it back up today because in order for us to be efficient at overseeing these greens, that's the best alternative we have available to us. And we have that dollar amount in that article. If we were going to be able to spend that dollar amount, then that that request has to go before the Board of Selectmen. Because even though it's sitting there in an article, in order to spend article funds, you have to get the approval of the Board of Selectmen. And this falls under the auspices of what that particular article was written for. The other unit is a walk-behind slice cedar that we could use on collars and teeth. I just can't get the big machine around some of these, the collars on some of these greens. And it's 1.5 times the width of the collar. So you're either putting rye and bluegrass seed in your green, which doesn't make any sense, or you're trying to put it in the rough and the machine's tilting downhill and all that, the good stuff. So we can't get the big machine around, for instance, on the 3rd collar, on the 11th collar. We need something smaller to be able to do that with. And what we've been doing is we've been doing the aeration and a drop seeding, which has given us some success. This would just make us more efficient.
Is this a walk behind?
The S-Track the S-Track has a power unit, which is yes, it's kind of like an aerator, and then the power unit itself has different attachments. You can get the Vibe disc seeder, you can get a dimple seeder. Dimple seeders are more prevalent on greens because you have a lower height of cut, and it's more accessible to be used there, although slice seeding is a better alternative because it actually places the seed in the soil. You can also put a verticut on that machine, and so on. A lot of the companies now are making machines like that and making implements that you can add to them to give people more flexibility. Aerators used to be just for aeration, but now they make these aerators with these power units that you can unhook the aerator and you can hook up a core pulverizer or core collector and use the same power unit and achieve a different job. So, I would say, push game to shove, I would say the Vibe seeding reels are something very important that we need. If it's believed that we can't afford the other unit at this particular time, then it's something we could look at in the future, and we'll have to find a way to get overseeding done with the standard methods that we've used in the past. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm asking about that now that 13,500 might be a little bit lower. That depends on you have to buy a kit for so it will attach to there's a kit for a Toro greens mower, a kit for a Toro diesel, there's a kit for a Jacobson greens mower, John Deere greens mower, and that cost could be somewhat lower than that, but probably only in the neighborhood of 13,000.
And the current method is what, Steve, again? I'm sorry.
What we do is we have a John Deere Aircore 800, it's a walk-behind aerator. We put what's called a dimple tine on it, and we dimple tine the green. Normally I do it in one direction, and then after we dimple tine the green, we'll take a Gandy drop spreader, which is about 4 feet wide, and drop the bent grass seed across the surface. Some of it gets in the dimples, other of it sits on the surface. Some of it, gets eaten by birds or whatever else. But once you do the dimple tine, then you do the drop seeding. Then you'll come behind that with a top dressing over top of the seed, and then you brush after you top dress. And what the brush does is it works the seed and the top dressing into the dimple holes. So you create a growing environment for the seed, whereas the vibratory seeding reels actually cut slits and drop the seed into the slit like a regular slice seeder. So the seed is already in that environment. You come behind it and you roll, and the rolling does is pinches the top, so the seed's not exposed. You top dress, and a day later nobody knows you were there. And it puts the seed where you want it. You can do it in 2 directions. And like I said, 2 directions on a green probably take about 15 minutes, where the other method takes about 40 to 45 minutes. And the nice thing about it is it allows you to jump out and do a green. You can top dress it, you can brush it, you can water it. again, before any golfers show up. You know, you send somebody out there to cut it first, and, you know, or, you know, it gives you that additional flexibility.
So we're essentially buying time with a machine like this, is what
You're
saying.
you're buying time, and you're getting a better seed to soil contact. So you're, not that the old method doesn't work and work well, we've been doing it for years, but you have a better germination rate with this type of machine. And you've had slice seeders for years. This one has, these are basically units that go on a triplex. So I don't have to train you know, Adam, on how to use it, because if Adam's cut greens with a triplex, you're doing the same thing. So there's no training curve. I can send anybody who's operated a triplex out there to slice seed with that machine, and they'll be able to do it.
So it's a quick change from the slicing to the cutting, or is it just an addition to?
Well, that's just, the slice seeding is just an addition to. I mean, you can.
To the machine.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably like a 15-minute change out of the reels. You know, you have each of one of the reels itself has that attachment, because the reel motors are different. You have a reel motor for a Toro is different from a reel motor for a Jake. The reel motor is what drives the unit. So you have the linkages that you buy separately that go on the outside of the reels for your particular unit. So then you just pop the reels off the one machine and put the seating reels on. Like I said, it takes, you know, for the Toro, it probably takes about 15-20 minutes at the most to switch them out. Switch them out the night before so you can go out first, or the day before so you can go out first thing.
And you can essentially get 3 done in the time you get 1 done now,
Basically, yeah.
give or take a couple minutes.
Yeah, and you have you have the ability to go out and do spots, or you can do it a second time or a third time without having to haul out the aerator, put the aerator on the trailer, drive the trailer out there. You know, it like I said, it gives you more flexibility. It gives you better seed germination. I mean, obviously we can still do it the way we've been doing it. I just thought that this would be an opportunity to get more done in the same amount of time and have a better germination rate.
How much would it cost for Sportscapes to do something like that? Do they do that?
They're not going to come in and do something small like that, because it's not that they're not capable. It's not worth their time. You know, to do 1 green here or 2 greens here. The flexibility that this adds is I can jump out there and do a green here or there, and I don't have to disrupt play. I don't have to change a schedule completely. If it rains one day, I mean, if I have Sportscape scheduled to come in and slice seed and it rains, sorry, you can't slice seed because the seed sticks to the reels and it doesn't come out. So I can just wait till the next day or the week, or you know, I mean, you know, even on a day like today, you could go out and do it in the afternoon if it wasn't so bloody hot. Speaking of which, somebody mentioned that there might be rain today.
Tonight,
No.
maybe.
Yeah, I believe we'll make it wet.
Yeah.
It's nice in here.
You have a 7-inch rainstorm this morning.
It's almost as
67
good
in
as
here.
your place.
It's nice.
Yeah, that's
I
a
think we're
sauna.
84 today.
84 in there? Oh, that's comfortable.
So I guess the question is there any other way that we want to spend that $14,000, right?
Well, I think that's in his
Well, it's,
budget, right?
well, it's,
Well,
the article.
it's in every
It's in the-
budget.
That's, yeah,
You still have to present it to the
But
selectmen,
it's
though.
gotta be
Yeah,
for
you still have to get their.
You're never gonna get it.
guidelines of that article.
Oh, I thought that was leftover money from the article. You still have to present it to.
No, anytime you want, even though articles are approved at town meeting, anytime you want to spend the money
Selectmen have to-
of an article, you have to go before the Board of Selectmen and get their approval to spend it.
Got it.
And you also, the Board of, we've been, relatively successful with that. The Board of Selectmen, several months ago, maybe even a year ago, were getting to the point where they were getting somewhat angry with people who have articles that have money in them for 5 or 6 years or so and they don't spend them. And one of the selectmen, I don't know if you can correct me if I'm wrong, basically wanted to have a 2 or 3 year time limit on the article. If you don't spend it by then, they're going to take the money away. Now, of course, our money is, the money that we have in articles basically comes out of the enterprise fund, it doesn't come out of the town coffers, so it's not like you're
Funding.
not like you're
Right.
taking it out and putting it back into the town coffer. You're basically taking it out and putting it back into that, what is it, 2.25 million that
Yes,
that
sir.
have there, so.
And these articles are for, equipment and infrastructure repairs to the course, right? So it's just, with that 13,000, at some point, it's going to be some piece of equipment or repair to the course, because that's what its use was for. It's just, do we feel collectively, this is the piece of equipment we'd want to spend it on at this point in time? But that is what the money is for.
Yeah, we had a lot of articles that were expended, and it was causing problems in the accounting office, things like that, so.
The ones that weren't, you're saying? Yeah.
Air conditioning would probably be good. Wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's my article.
By the time you get an air conditioner, it'll be 120
It's-
degrees daily.
I've got two guys that I'm working with. I got one guy at 3,500 and another guy says he can do it for like 26. I said, put it on paper so I can bring it to the meeting. Split
Again,
unit.
do
But I gotta be
mini
honest,
split.
I'm not sure if it'll work, because the door's open
Quite a bit,
250 times a day,
yeah.
times 2, in and out. And
So
then the
this-
back door in and out, so 500 times a day. It's just sucking.
Yeah,
I
this-
start out the day, it's 67 in there, and when I just left, it was climbing because it never rained, and the sun came out after the clouds, and I watched
Beating
it
on the
go
back
from
window.
75 to 80 to 84.
So that's the thing, I mean, I turn this on an hour before lunch. The guys sit in here for their half an hour lunch, and then they're out the door and the door's closed. So when they come back,
Yeah.
they come back at the end of the day, you're in
Still
here
cool.
for 10 minutes.
Tile floors,
And then
steel doors,
you know,
lockers, holds the.
When we're done, I'll turn it off, and then I turn it back on, next day.
What ends up with us is we have those vents in the ceiling. The sun cooks on the trailer, starts pushing the heat through the eaves out of the attic into the trailer because the pipe is not insulated, and that pipe heats up. So not only do you have the sun baking the trailer, it's baking the attic and actually pushing heat into the trailer. So that is going to be battling against the split unit. But if we want to give it a
Just good
shot,
for the
if I get a
patrons,
written
too.
estimate, yeah, well, absolutely. I know
I know.
the trailer life. I've been living it. I know when to turn on the fans, when to turn them halfway to stop sucking heat in from under the doors.
Were you in that movie Trailer Trash?
I live that movie Trailer Trash.
Just making sure.
Evie knows. It's a very it has its own dynamic of how it flows. It holds heat real well and it holds cold real well.
You get real grumpy in there when you're dealing with
You ain't
customers
lying.
and it's 90 degrees.
It's too much.
I mean, if it's
Yeah.
a couple grand you can try, I mean, it's worth, I think it's
Oh,
it's worth
100%.
it to make it,
If it's $8,000, it's worth it.
right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we got $84,000 in a capital account.
That's what I mean, we gotta do it.
So I'll get an estimate.
That,
I got two
since it's in
HVAC
your
guys
budget, you don't have to get
that
approval.
have that are interested in doing it. I'm just waiting for the first guy to put the estimate on a piece of paper so I can bring it in.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't have anything else of, the only, I just have on this agenda, future equipment needs, just to keep those on people's minds and bring them to everyone's attention. And the other thing, there are our bunker renovation project, which could start Monday the 25th, although I'm of the feeling it's probably going to be more likely after Labor Day, simply because one division of the company is up in Maine, and the other one is finishing work down here. So as soon as they get done, the respective jobs, which I'm sure have been delayed and postponed and switched because of weather and whatnot, they'll be here. It's just that right now I can't tack them down until they get further into completing the work that they've done or doing. So
Are they gonna go on your direction on what hole to start?
yeah, I mean, I think the 10th hole is the best hole to start on. We've started cutting temporaries in the 10th fairway and the 7th fairway just to be prepared. We've buck the height down a little bit. We'll do that again. We'll put the height down a little bit further next week, just so we have something that someone can differentiate
So
from.
that's what we decided? Is that
Yeah,
what
well,
we-
I mean, I thought it was you who mentioned that.
Yeah, we talked about
it was a
is that
par
what we-
three.
Yeah.
Instead of closing a hole, turn it into a par three. It would only be one hole at a time. You know,
Like-
wouldn't do anything on the 7th hole until the 10th hole was finished. Then you move on to the next hole. And then, again, there's other things here. We touched on projects earlier. Bunker work, tree work, cart path work, pond, any type of project that you guys, feel is necessary or should be done. You need to start that process now, so you're prepared to deal with going out to bid and do everything else. So now's the time to start looking at that type of stuff, because these guys are starting to fill their schedule already. As far as cart path work is concerned, again, if we are permitted to continue working hand in hand with the DPW, then that's something we would have to consider as far as what cart paths you want to do, and then we could generate a cost, and then we could generate a time which those could be completed. I listed, again, I'm not giving up on the additional building. We need it if we're going to move forward, if we're going to grow as an operation, if you're going to continue to improve the quality of what you're doing. And let's face it, it's a reinvestment in what you're doing here. And I listed the course-based map, again, mapping the irrigation system, so you can have it into the computer, so you can individually identify heads out on the golf course, and so on. It helps with the irrigation scheduling, but it also helps with, you could actually recontour a fairway sitting there on that map, doing that, and then taking the measurements, putting that into the field, flagging it to see whether you like the way it looks or not. I didn't want to breeze through those, but I continued to list them there to keep them on people's minds. But if we're going to consider the seating reels, we have to have some type of decision, because as Sydney alluded to, the Board of Selectmen meeting is the 26th. In order to get on that agenda, if we were going to attempt to move forward, we have to be on there by the 21st.
Holy crap.
So two quick questions on that, Steve. So when's the lead time, and when would you start using these things?
I'd just start using it as soon as I get it.
And it's something that's readily available. Because I know to me, your equipment's like months out at a time, so I'm just curious.
Yeah, well, I talked to the distributor. He has these. These are in stock.
Mm-hmm.
These aren't as involved as something like an aerator or something. And I did fail to mention that I'm speaking with other suppliers about large area aerators, which we did include in our Article 908005, which was just passed in the spring. It included the cost of the bunker project, and we discussed adding the cost of 2 aerators in there. I'm looking to other vendors besides Toro to see, number one, if we can get better prices, but 2, whether you have a better or a shorter time period. Toro's a year out on an aerator, and we have the one 1500, and that goes, we have nothing. Nothing for tees, nothing for greens, except the walk behind, which takes forever.
I'm sure you've done your homework, but on this overseeding reel, do you have friends that use it, in the business?
I've had people, they're just starting to, in this area, just starting to use them. There's people who've used them quite a bit across different, regions in the state. I have, right now, I can't think of anybody I know who's purchased one yet. A lot of people, I'll give you an example, that little sweeper that we have, the FS 900. A year ago, we were one of the first, to demo it. And in the past year, the same company who supplies these reels. In the past year, they've sold over 55 of them. Some places have bought 2. Once something like that catches on, It's a very utilitarian piece of equipment. And again, if it's a time saver, especially in this day and age, people are going to latch onto it. But like, to answer your question, I don't know anybody personally who bought it. I've known a lot of people who demoed it and were impressed with the demonstration. We had it out here, must have been 7 or 8, 9 months ago.
I don't mean to interrupt, but if you can't make it for the 26th, their next meeting is the 9th, and they're hoping to have town meeting in mid to late October. So I know you're trying to spend this article, but if you have any other projects you want to think of, we're going to be accepting submissions for articles soon. So it's good to keep in mind.
Exactly. Yeah, that'll be the big one. All right, so does anybody have any inclination?
Town meeting's
for one, two?
October?
It's going to be mid to late October. They're still deciding between 2 dates.
Gotcha.
They'll establish that, I think, in their next meeting, so.
Does anyone want to make recommendation motion either way on buying these seating wheels out of the article?
We keep talking about time, right? Especially in September, where there's no time for Steve. If it's true with what you're saying, then I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, if it's putting the seed right in the soil too, I mean, that's, as opposed to the drop spreader and the drop seeder, I mean, it makes sense.
You get more out of your seed?
Well, you're not losing any seed on the surface, number one, you're putting it directly into the ground, and you're going to get a better germination rate over time, because it is put into an environment where it can, where it's got some protection. That's the most important thing when you're seeding, whether it's a home lawn or overseeding, is seed-to-soil contact. You need seed-to-soil contact, you need a temperature. You don't, and moisture. You don't need sunlight until you actually get germination and you get a leaflet coming up. Then you need sunlight, because then you have to do carry on photosynthesis. So that's why a lot of people, wonder why you seed at this time of the year, because you still have the heat in the ground, but also crabgrass is an annual weed. First hard frost is going to kill it. So you're better to seed this time of year, because you seed in the spring, you disrupt the soil, and the crabgrass seed is going to germinate sooner than your regular seed, and you're going to have a bunch of crabgrass all over the place. Thoughts?
Okay, so I will make you have another
No, I'm
question?
on board with
Alright,
it.
so I'll make a motion to use the funds remaining in Article 908-004 to purchase a Moreto 6 GT 410 vibe seating reel.
Yeah, second.
It's made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
What do you need for me to be put on the agenda?
I'll just leave this placeholder and if you need to be
Okay.
So if we go through the rest of this quickly, and D we already beat to death, jump back up to C.
Yeah.
Facility Exploratory Committee. All right, so they're pretty much ready to, not pretty much, they are ready to essentially turn the recommendations of their committee over to us, which I think is a good thing, right? It just showed another set of 7 eyes going through the project with the architect. I'm not sure if you guys have seen, I know Dan had the renderings in there, if you've seen it, here's a couple more drawings that Rich just emailed to me, that they wanted to present to us someday next week. I guess 2 guys in around me, but in essence of wanting to get this in front of the selectmen. Right, so you're available, Andrew, you could be available
Yeah, I mean, I'll make it happen.
on the Thursday next week, is good for you guys? 'Cause I know sometimes they've met Wednesdays, sometimes they met Thursdays.
What time on Thursday-ish?
It's usually, I think, around the same time,
Yeah, 5:30 or later they usually meet.
Yeah, they gotta get out of work.
which is better for me.
Maybe I can,
It's way better.
I can zoom in or something from where I'm at, just to listen.
Yeah. Yeah, the Wednesday or Thursday, I mean, there's no better day, so.
And just in case as a backup, would Wednesday be potentially okay with you too? Because I can do either day next week as well. All right, so let me reach out to Rich, let them know that we could potentially do a Wednesday or Thursday, say 5:30, and try to get that from him tomorrow.
At the police
At the
station?
police
Yeah,
station,
I
I was gonna say.
Right, so that way you can have the projector, the better screen, spread out, not be tucked in here, just in case other people did show up if they wanted to. We can go through this. What I'll do too is, when I get home, I'll email the PDF of this to the rest of you guys, so you can look through it. Because I just got it before coming here today, I printed out one copy. And, we can look at it, I mean, personally, from what I've seen, I think it looks pretty cool, I think it's a good idea, I think it fits,
It's definitely a good idea.
it's a good compromise of, I think, a good compromise roughly, like size, cost, what we could get out of it and get us for the
Did they
next 25 years.
design it so you could add on in the future if you wanted to?
So this is just the conceptual,
Oh.
so they haven't even gone to a blueprint phase yet, so this is just trying to put the idea of what the building could look like and
Some of the things he had
approximately.
talked about would be potentially, even if it was the deck would have, like, say, the permanent roof structure already built, so if you wanted to build out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so it would be one size now, could accommodate that without too much work down the road. That was one idea he had of structuring the roof that way, so he did take those into consideration, even with just this preliminary design. So, all right, so I'll talk to him, I'll email you guys back out just to know, and hopefully we can get that next week, that way we can get it in front of the selectmen, and hopefully get it on town meeting, and keep this thing moving.
Let's go.
All right, so aside from that, next week.
Do they have to have, for the town meeting though, like, hard number?
I think we'd have to have at least like obviously it would be like a not to exceed number, so.
Okay,
town
yeah,
meeting-
not to exceed,
I
right.
thought they left it as an estimate, because they gave you till October. First, they were
Right.
talking about May, wasn't it, or something, that when we just started this,
Right, well, they weren't, at one point, they weren't positive they were gonna have a fall town
Right,
meeting. If
right.
we're having a fall town meeting, let's try to
Let's get
keep
it
this
on.
thing moving.
Yeah. So even, a not to exceed number would be,
And then, gonna work out collectively with the selectmen how it would ultimately be funded, or do we bond again, even a short-term bond, or do we do bond anticipation notes in the interim, which you can do up to, I think, 5 years and pay it off that way, that'd be the logistics down the road. We would need the initial approval from town meeting up to an initial not to exceed number in the financing point, even if the authorization's to borrow, doesn't mean you have to borrow.
right.
Right, it's like getting pre-approved for a mortgage, and you don't buy a house that's that expensive, and you don't get a mortgage that expensive, right? But you have the approval. So we get the pre-approval from town meeting up to a not to exceed amount, and then hopefully work within our means to keep it as low as possible. But I also wouldn't want to be at the last minute, like be $100,000 short either.
Right.
That's also why we have a balance in our fund to take care of the underlying big things we need going forward as well. So do you want to pick a date for the next regular meeting while we're here?
Dana, when's Kathy start?
9/11?
Maybe about a week, I think.
That's not the best day for me. I mean, I just have to have some
Yeah,
else on
she's
my
gotta
case.
help her this year, so.
Yeah.
18th
talked to them.
following
Yeah.
Thursday.
18 I
They
can
said that
do.
they're not-
I'd
They
put,
got
I'd,
clubs for them at the school.
No,
so
the 18th or the 25th, right?
They got 30
Right.
kids, you got X amount.
she's all done, this is her last year,
Yes,
so
those days are good, so.
I don't know what's gonna
Not good.
happen
I
after
think any of
that.
those days are good
Oh,
for me,
right.
so.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
September 18th, good for you, John?
Sure, great.
it would be.
All right, so let's go with September 18th.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Here,
Sure. 9/18/25.
maybe we can meet in the clubhouse, maybe we'll have an air conditioning by then. Or maybe it'll
We
have
got
snow.
3 right now.
Oh, yeah, I know that, yeah, they're working real well, too.
I wish I had more windows.
Yeah, well, maybe you should just make one big window out of the whole place.
Come on, John, if they
Motion to
have
adjourn
gas
from
up there,
somebody?
you have spare cigarettes.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the
Take
meeting.
the roof
I'll
off.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, good night.
Yep.